Context matters more than consistency in social media marketing. Content needs context and conversation to work. Otherwise, it's just echoing hollowly in all the spaces. You have probably been told that posting consistently is the key to social media success. But you and that was valid advice at one point. And you're still not wrong. It's still not bad advice. It's just not the full picture. Consistency without context doesn't build trust. It doesn't create conversations, and it will rarely turn into clients. In fact, posting consistently in the wrong places or without relevance will often create more noise than momentum. And momentum is what you need. So, what we're going to talk about is why context matters more than consistency and how to fix what's quietly holding your content down. So, there's a myth of consistency is the strategy. Yes, consistency is a discipline, but in and of itself, it's not the strategy. Many small business owners and marketing agencies are doing all of the right things. They're posting daily or at least several times a week. They're following trending formats. They're following trending hashtags, trending content styles, um, themes. They're tracking and implementing the platform best practices, and they're showing up on a consistent, reliable basis. And yet, their engagement statistics remain flat. Their reach is actually contracting. The conversations never start. And that's because consistency only works when it's paired with context. Without context, your content becomes background noise. It's technically visible, but it's functionally ignored. What context really means in social media isn't just about where you post, it's who is already present in the space, why they're there, and what problem they're trying to solve. Context includes the platform's culture and expectations, the audience's mindset, the reason that someone joined that particular group or follows that particular account, and significantly, the unwritten, unspoken rules of engagement. That's why posting the same content everywhere and assuming that all the audiences want the same thing at the same time fails, and why the concept of cross posting is often social media marketers often recommend against cross posting, because the reality is this all the audiences are different. They don't want the same thing, and they certainly don't want it at the same time. A thoughtful, insightful piece in the wrong environment will perform worse than an average, just kind of throw it out there content piece, but with the right audience. Visibility without context is just noise. When content lacks context, it doesn't invite conversation. It doesn't feel relevant. It doesn't earn trust, and it doesn't signal authority. Instead, it signals automation, obligation, and self promotion. This is why scheduled full posts feel flat, even if their content is great. Engagement pods will fail long term. That's even if the platform doesn't penalize them. The at everyone tag annoys everyone. And these are leading the algorithm to quietly deprioritize your content and mine. It's the platform doing its job. The platform's algorithm's job is to show the users the content they want to engage with, not the creator's content that we want the users to see. Have you ever been asked by a friend to follow a page or a business and then you never see anything from that page again? The fact is, the algorithm probably showed you one, maybe two posts, and you didn't engage. Therefore, and that's how the algorithm confirmed this was just a courtesy like. You aren't really interested. You didn't actually go to the page. You just clicked yes, I'll follow on the suggestion button. You didn't go to the page and go down and like two or three of the posts. It recognizes that that was a courtesy like, and it doesn't show you any of that content. It's just a vanity metric of more followers on the page. But you're not actually following if you never see their content. This is why you as a content creator, your content isn't giving a reason to engage, and therefore the algorithm isn't showing it to the people who might engage because there's no one engaging. Here's the point. Conversation is the missing multiplier. Social media doesn't reward posting, it rewards interaction. When the conversation happens, it turns content into social proof. It turns content into signal strength. It turns content into relationship capital. When your content is sparking replies, questions, dialogues, the platform sees it as relevant and shows it to more people. And that creates compounding trust organically, naturally. And your signal authority grows without being salesy. Content without conversation just echoes hollowly. Content with conversation builds momentum. And this is why many of the consistent accounts stall. They build a following, they build the vanity metrics, but the content is being broadcast instead of being contextual. The posts are scheduled, but no one is discussing the content of the posts. The creators are talking at the audience instead of with them. The only engagement that happens is on their own feed, if anywhere. It's not on the page posts. So being present isn't the same as being participatory. The fastest growing accounts aren't just posting consistently, they're showing up inside the conversations that are already happening. In fact, this is maybe the secret sauce of the social media sniper method taught by Devin Tracy. In that method, you're posting for social proof after someone's had a conversation with you and goes to see if your page and your profile is about the same thing you're talking about. But lead with the conversation you're having with people. Be consistent in having conversations with people, and then it doesn't take a lot of content on your page to matter. If you want more information on Social Media Sniper and the exact suggested methods, we have that available and I'll put a link in the show notes for Social Media Sniper, for how to get to Social Media Sniper in the GHL Business Launch Training Bowl. So, how do you apply context before getting consistency? Here's a better question. Instead of asking, how often should I post? Ask, where does my audience talk already? That's point 3 of the 9-point marketing plan. The media is all about where that audience is already listening. Instead of asking, how often should I post content? What questions is my audience asking right now? What problem is my audience actively trying to solve? And then ask yourself, how do I add clarity to that conversation instead of volume, instead of frequency, instead of repetition? Comment thoughtfully before you post your own piece related to the topic. Respond to other people's conversations more than you broadcast to the environment. And when you do post, tailor your content to the environment where you're posting it. Let the conversations you're having guide your content creation strategy. Because consistency works better after relevance is established. Relevance to your audience, not to your perceived message, your solution oriented terms about what you want to talk about. Here's the real goal: momentum, not output. Social media success isn't measured by keeping the calendar full. Social media success is measured by keeping the conversation alive. Momentum comes from being in the right places and speaking to real problems and inviting human responses with other human beings. The content is just the environment, is just the background noise of the conversation. That's why content needs context and conversation to work. If your content is not going anywhere, if it feels like you're producing this content to fill a calendar and you're not getting the traction, it's probably not a lack of volume. It's probably not a lack of frequency. It's not a lack of consistency. It's a lack of context. So post less if you need to. More importantly, listen more than you publish. Join the existing conversations rather than trying to start new ones. Consistency does matter, but only after context is earned.